All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell. Um, we
We're
start
going to
off with
start
some.
this one with some sad news. Unfortunately, earlier today, by the time we are recording this podcast, June 7th, 2023, we lost a legend, an absolute legend. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the Iron Sheik has passed away. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
And, yeah, 81 years old, you know? Which is actually pretty impressive because of you think about the lifestyle of like the 70s and 80s and everything that he's been through. 81 is a very good life for a wrestler, you know, because like I said, with the lifestyle of the 70s and 80s and all the drugs that have been involved and whatnot. So 81 years old, Iron Sheik, we salute you. Rest in peace. You absolute legend. Now go humble some people in heaven. But on a much lighter note, we're going to start this thing off the way we usually do with Impact and AEW talk. So, this first segment, full disclosure, this first segment on Impact took 15 minutes. So, um, I'm going to try and get through as much as I can. Um, Bully Ray opens up Impact by saying there's nobody better at putting people through tables than him, and says that he only lights tables on fire if people piss him off. Scott D'Amore pissed him off. Then we have Steve Macklin coming down, joining him to say that he allowed Bully to do what he did at Under Siege. Then there was a little more that happened. I really wasn't that important. Um, And then we had the Motor City Machine Guns come down, and all four men, Steve Macklin, Bully Ray, and the Guns, trade barbs on the mic about who's better. They suggest a tag team match, to which Bully says not tonight. Then Subculture comes down to challenge the Machine Guns, and that was the main event of the night. Um, this next thing, I really didn't want to talk about it other than like just to kind of go over what the match itself is. So, Nick Aldis will be competing in an 8-4-1 match. So, what that is, it starts as an 8-man tag, and then the winning team faces off against each other in a fatal four way, and then the winner of the match moves on to Slammiversary to challenge for the Impact World title. And Nick Aldis vows to win it. Um, so then we have our first bit of in-ring
You
action.
know, no offense to that match, but that sounds like some NWA type of bullshit kind of match right there. I mean, I get it. He was their champion. He was their top
Well,
prize back in the day.
see, I
But
don't know so much about that because honestly, I don't think NWA would be like no disrespect to. Well, actually, you know what? All the disrespect to Billy Corgan. He's not smart enough to think of a match concept like that. Not for nothing. He is act like
but then again,
I don't want to like really go down that rabbit hole and go into like a big old rant about the NWA, but at the same time, we're here, let's talk about it. I truly believe that Billy Corgan is like completely demeaning and completely destroying even the legacy of the NWA
but then
by
again,
having Tyrus as their world champion. Like, and that's the thing too. I was willing to give it a chance. Like I watched that first episode of Power after Tyrus had initially won the title, and I was so pissed off at the fact that they gave Mims his uh, earned title opportunity at the television championship, and like they had to go to a draw. It's like, why? Why would you do that? And like the thing about it too is like at this point now, the television champion is not even Jordan Clearwater anymore. It's Tom Latimer. So what changed between then and now in terms of like you know
I don't
I
know.
don't
Then
know, but
again,
either
Tony
way,
Khan would also probably think of something ingenious or something like that. I mean, look at a lot of the other kind of matches that Tony Khan has come up with. I mean, Anarchy in an arena match. I mean, he would come up with a 8-4-1 type of match. But then again, Scott D'Amore is also crazy enough to think about something like that too. Because look at all the other kind of things that he's come up
well,
with.
let's also just talk about a lot of the. I mean, Impact Wrestling slash like TNA has birthed a lot of like crazy match stipulations. I mean, after all, TNA slash Impact Wrestling was the birthplace of the Reverse Battle Royal, which basically is the whole purpose of that was like just wild to me because I remember Slammiversary 2022. They had one to celebrate like 20 years. Basically, everybody's on the outside. They're competing to get in the ring, to get into a match, and then basically, if I remember correctly, what happens after that is it then turns into a regular battle royal where the last two people then have like a normal match. I think that
Who
if I
knows?
remember correct, but yeah, either way, let's get back on track. So, first bit of in ring action with Impact Wrestling was Eddie Edwards taking on Yuya Uemura. He beat Yuya, and then after the match, Frankie Kazarian comes down to teach Eddie a lesson about respect. Um, OVE, which for now it was Sammy Callahan and Jake Christ. So they beat Decay, and then after the match, Khan chokeslams both men, and the Design beat down both men, and then Rich Swann comes down to fend off the Design, but doesn't quite work. He was a little too late. Rich Swann was a little too late to make the save. And at that point, like Sammy kind of confronted Rich backstage. He's like, "Hey man, where the hell were you? You came out too late." And so it leads to Sammy Callahan hinting at a monster to take down the Design. Who could it be? We now know because by the time you're seeing this episode, Against All Odds will be tomorrow. And we know that Sammy Callahan found another person along with Jake Christ to take on the Design. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a reunited, completely reunited, except for Dave Christ, but we have a completely reunited OVE. Sammy Callahan, Jake Christ, and Madman Fulton are taking on the Design at Against All Odds in Columbus. So, that's going to be a big match. And then we had Trinity, and if you don't know, Trinity, formerly Naomi, Trinity beat Savannah Evans, and then after the match calls out Deonna Purrazzo and the Knockout World Champion to challenge Deonna and Slammiversary, which that match is official, by the way. Trinity is going to face Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockout World Championship. And then both women get beaten down by Gazelle Shaw, Jay Vidal, and Savannah Evans. And then Jordan Grace evens the odds. or at least attempts to. Not much to talk about with this next match. It was kind of just a match that was thrown together. Jody Threat beats Danny Luna, and then in the main event, Motor City Machine Guns versus Subculture. They were hyping it up as like a dream match. I'm like, I mean, I guess it could be a dream match if you're like a fan of Subculture and a fan of the Machine Guns. Yeah, but like my big pet peeve is like the fact that a lot of people throw around that term, and I feel like they don't truly like know what that term like really means. So that's like a pet peeve of mine with when it comes to that is like people throw around the term dream match, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, maybe a dream match for you, but not for me. So, but the Machine Guns beat Subculture, so that's that for Impact. Now we'll get on to AEW.
Yeah, before we really go into Dynamite and Rampage, we're gonna talk about some matches that are gonna be happening at Forbidden Door.
Oh yes, yes.
Kenny has been officially announced that Kenny
Yeah,
Omega
man.
and Will Ospreay
I
will
can't wait.
face off against each other.
Not
And-
to mention, Bryan Danielson called out the Rainmaker and he accepted.
Okada.
So, at Forbidden Door in Toronto, we are getting two amazing matches. One of which is a real dream match between Danielson and Okada, and then the other one being Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship. They are having their second match for that championship, at least as far as I know, their second match. So,
Yeah, more matches will be, officially announced. Of course, as this, episode premieres, Dynamite would have already happened. So we have officially 2 more weeks until
Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
So,
And I cannot wait.
I know it's going to be a fun time. We're going to be
That
in
whole
Toronto
weekend.
for it.
That whole weekend is going to be great.
Yeah, Saturday
not
Night
only do we
Collision
have
beforehand.
Collision, we have Forbidden Door, and then we go
Of
home.
course, we'll have some Collision news going more into the show, but we start off with Dynamite as the Blackpool Combat Club trio faces off against the Lucha Brothers and Bandito.
You know what? Call it the Lucha Trio.
I will say
Why
now, I said it before on the show, it would be nice to see Blackpool Combat Club inching closer to those World Trios tag team titles, and it seems like that could be the case. But then again, Marty, could the Blackpool Combat Club as a trio itself have their eyes set on somebody at Forbidden Door? Because I feel like they might be. I don't know who, but I feel like there's got to be somebody out there.
Yeah.
Some
I
trio.
look at it this way. If not the AEW Trios titles, potentially, I mean, granted, I don't know how much Moxley would want to go to Ring of Honor. Well, okay, you know something? If not Moxley, Danielson could do it. Go to Ring of Honor and win their
Six-man tag team titles against the Mogul Embassy. Yeah. That could happen.
I mean, because I'm sure Danielson wouldn't mind going back to Ring of Honor, but then again, I don't know.
But all together in this match, it's kind of bad. I don't really remember too much of what happened with it. I know that
the one takeaway from that match was Bandito holding
Oh
Wheeler up
yes,
for
I
like
was gonna say
30
yes.
seconds.
No, Bandito held up for a
It was
while.
Yuta. Yeah.
Yeah, Yuta for I think it was more than 30 seconds. It was for a good,
Was it more than
almost
30?
solid minute. Yeah.
I mean, he held him up there for a good while.
Yeah, I was gonna say for a good while. I mean, he was just counting like like 40
Yeah, the
something.
crowd was even losing their mind. They were like just standing in awe.
But even with everything like that, the Blackpool Comic Club just showed that they're very dominant, that they're showing that they can be the most dominant trio.
Blackpool Combat Club is running the whole damn show.
Honestly,
Like,
I really do think that um, the House of Black, even though they're running the damn show as the trios tag team champions, better watch out that Blackpool Combat Club are going to be coming for them. They're going to be gunning for those World
yeah.
Trios tag team titles, I think. So we're getting on to our next little um, news here. Jay White and Ricky, Jay White, Ricky Starks, and Rock Hard Juice Robinson
Bullet
have had
Club
their
Gold
problems
with
with
and
Ricky
Ricky
Starks.
Starks, yeah.
But Jay White comes out and says Ricky thinks that he's on top of the world after eliminating them, which is probably true. And he lost the Battle Royal like they lost like he lost to Jay White. Now they want the tag team titles. And Bullet Club Gold want to know why FTR saved Ricky Starks. And they know Ricky Starks doesn't have any friends. And say they are a little bit slow being Southern boys and call them done. Out come FTR and Jay White thinks they are going to join Bullet Club Gold. They drop the mic and then start beating each other down. What does this mean going forward? And then Ricky Starks comes out and wants to take on Jay White later. Later on, of course, when recording on. So this match has probably already happened, if not going to happen. So safe to say that Bullet Club Gold could potentially go after those tag team titles at Forbidden Door. I would be all for
I'd
it.
be okay with that.
I would be all for Bullet Club Gold getting the tag team title reign. But the problem is, you also have other tag teams that are part of it too. The Hardys wanted to go after those tag team titles. Um, so
Well, it's interesting too because and it sucks with
you
what
know,
happened to Mark Davis
this is what
because
sucks about it being a couple weeks away. You kind of have to
yeah,
really fast book
yeah,
Forbidden Door, and not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just what happens
yeah.
when you.
Well, so I was gonna get into that too. It's like it sucks that we won't be able to get like the ultimate rematch essentially between Aussie Open and FTR and potentially for the IWGP or even the New Japan Strong tag team titles against FTR because I would like to see. I mean, FTR has already been IWGP. Why don't they go after the New Japan Strong tag team titles? Like, who's to say they couldn't? But I mean, ultimately, they
Now,
can't right now.
ooh, you know what I could see happening
What's that?
that I didn't even think about? What if it's FTR and Ricky Starks against Bullet Club Gold and somebody from Japan that joins them? What if it's somehow like.
You know, it's funny you mention that because El Phantasmo has been kicked out of David Finley's Bullet Club. Who's to say El Phantasmo, ELP, doesn't end up joining Bullet Club Gold and taking on.
Because I didn't even think about that. That could be an awesome six-man tag team match at Forbidden Door. Because that's kind of like how they're playing it out to be.
Yeah,
They're kind of having FTR joining up with
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks. But then again, who knows? Maybe it could just be Ricky Starks against Jay White or Juice Robinson, and then, um, well, then again, I don't know. Maybe then it could be a six-man tag team match, and then you book the tag team title match heading to All In September, or I mean in August. Sorry, not September this year. It's in August in London. Um, um, which is kind of odd because you got WWE this month going to be in
Money in the
London
Bank.
for
Yeah,
Money in
Money
the
in the
Bank.
Bank.
This is the little thing I don't like about WWE. Why is all their pay-per-views after WWE, after WrestleMania, have been all overseas?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Backlash has been
In Puerto
in
Rico.
Puerto Rico. Then you had Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions. Now you're in London for Money in the Bank. What's fucking next month? Fucking San Juan, Puerto Rico? Or
Well, no, they
I
were
mean,
already in San
I
Juan.
mean, I don't know, Canada? I mean,
It's possible.
I don't
It's
know. I
possible.
don't know. I'm just pointing out like countries.
No. Next pay per view is going to be in Asia.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, or
But
Europe, but they're pretty
getting
much
back
already
on
in
track,
Europe.
it just blows my mind that even now they're like even now they're the Triple H is thinking about giving Rhea and um Charlotte. Isn't she though? No, Rhea and
Asuka?
Asuka like new belts. I'm like, I
Oh,
swear
you
to
mean
God,
like the belt exchange that they did that one year?
no. New like what I mean is by that is like
Well,
they're
not to
probably gonna be
mention,
they're probably gonna look like like the men's titles, but in the women's
I
form.
thought they kind of already did, but with a white strap and a
I
a
mean, like
color
you got the
scheme.
world heavyweight title, and then you got the
Oh,
undisputed
that's
title.
what you're going. I hope the hell not.
But then again, who the hell knows?
But
Um,
also, it doesn't make a lot of sense that the Raw champion is on SmackDown and the SmackDown champion is on Raw. Like, what the hell kind of sense does that make? That's what they did the one time, and then they had that title exchange. So it's like, why? Like, in a way, I feel like they should do it again, but at the same time, it's like, this whole fucking thing just doesn't make any sense. Like, why did you have a
WWE.
draft if you were gonna draft the Raw champion on SmackDown and the SmackDown champion on Raw? Like, just keep them on the fucking brand
I
that they're
I know there
associated
really
with as a
truly
champion.
hasn't been like a brand split since the ruthless aggression era, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But
Not for
there
nothing,
is.
the first year that they did it was probably the best time.
Speaking of a former Ruthless Aggression era superstar, but now as an AEW, he's going to be officially making his return June 17th for the very
I don't
first
know if I
ever
would really call him a
AEW
ruthless
Collision.
aggression era star, or like a PG era
Well, he
star.
was still there in 2006, and that was Ruthless
Well,
Aggression.
yeah, but
But yeah, he's going to be back for the very first ever AEW Collision event. Thoughts? I think he's going to be in the main event because Tony Khan was officially announced the first
that
main
announcement has
event.
probably already happened by the time.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be CM Punk against who knows? I don't know, Miro or somebody
Nah,
big.
nah. What if it's CM Punk and Samoa Joe?
That could work.
We're
But
like, I mean, people are dying to see it in AEW as it is, and not for nothing, that produced like one of CM Punk's few. I think he's only ever had like two, maybe more, maybe less. 5-star matches. One of which was in Ring of Honor against Samoa Joe, and the other that I know of was against John Cena at Money in the Bank.
well, I
So,
will say that CM Punk, returning to Chicago, I kind of figured it was going to happen. It was, you know,
but interestingly enough, it has boosted ticket sales for Chicago, but not anywhere else for Collision.
well, it is what it is.
I mean, not for nothing though. CM Punk is a draw in
Well,
Chicago
the
as it
problem
is.
the problem is that you know
A lot of
Scotia
people
Bank
have their
Arena
feelings
is a
about.
very big arena, and Collision
Well,
they weren't
not to
going to sell a
mention,
whole lot of tickets for that anyway because they were
not to
only going to have
mention,
one kind of row of
yeah.
100s and then mostly the floor is what they were
Well,
selling.
not to mention, a lot of people are still kind of like upset and they have their feelings towards Punk. At this point, I look at it as like, eh.
Let the man
Like,
have a
I'm
second
over it at
chance
this
after.
point. Like, yeah,
At this
I look at it
point,
this way.
this is his last chance to kind of really prove himself in the
Yeah,
company. If he fucks up again, he's out.
yeah, pretty much.
Same thing with Jeff Hardy. I hate to say
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is the CM Punk and Jeff Hardy are literally on their last leg in wrestling, and if they both mess up again, they're done.
Well, at least for CM Punk, potentially he could go back to WWE because he really never left on a bad. I mean, he did, but
I don't know about that one.
at the same time, like he was backstage at Raw that one time, and Vince basically found out. He was like, "Hey, he's got to get out of here. Like, I don't want it. I don't want like the only reason Vince said like, hey, he's got to get out of here. He didn't want to deal with potential tampering, and CM Punk understood that, so
Right.
he left peacefully. So it's safe to say that CM Punk is like trying to make amends for his departure from WWE, and it's safe to say that if he wasn't still contracted by AEW, he probably would go back to WWE if
I don't know
something
about
like
that. I think he was just showing up to any kind of thing that was in Chicago because I think there was something also that's in Chicago and he showed up in.
yeah, it was Impact.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He was in the crowd for Impact to support Trinity during her like debut.
Yeah, so
Same with Mercedes Monet.
maybe CM Punk is just making an amends altogether, which is great. Hopefully,
I mean, granted, it happened a little too late in his career, but
right.
better late than never. I look
But
at it.
honestly, I guess I'm okay with CM Punk being the main guy for Collision. Somebody that you can build a show off of, kind of like what happened with, Dynamite and Chris Jericho. So maybe CM Punk could be the one that can help the show
Yeah,
get off the ground, and it's not a bad thing. It's now they're going to be their new live 2 hour show
yeah,
to help kind of compete with Dynamite in itself. Um, if you think about it, Collision, well, it's not Saturday, so it's not really competing with any other
yeah.
company's
No, it's
show.
not. I mean, but see, that's the thing. Is like,
If you had that on Friday, that was a live
yes,
Friday,
then
8
it
to
would,
10,
yeah.
then you could compete, which
But it
at this
would kind of
point
be a
would be kind
ballsy
of, at
move.
this point would kind of be hilarious to see, but I don't think
It
that's
would
going
be
to
a
ever
very
happen.
ballsy move on behalf of AEW. I mean,
They
it's
were
not
they
like
were
they haven't before, but
smart to have it on nights that are not competing with
well, you got
WWE.
to factor in there might be a pay per view on a like week that Collision is, you know.
True.
So
But either way, we're gonna
because
continue
every now
on.
and then, I should say lately, WWE has been having their PLEs on Saturdays instead of Sundays. So
True.
there could be like a week where of Collision where it's going up against a WWE PLE.
Unless they move it to a different night, which could be possible too. But
What night would they move it
I
to?
don't know.
Sunday?
Who knows? So we're gonna move forward. Swerve Strickland faces off against Trent Beretta and Big Bill. Um, Trent Beretta, I tell you, he's one hell of a guy. Big Bill, trying to use his brute strength in this match. Trying to choke slam both men, but unfortunately, Swerve Strickland was able to get the upper hand in this match. Um, it is crazy. When are we gonna get? When is Swerve gonna do more in AEW? I just think that
Yeah,
he's
cause
kind of
like
fallen off.
I
Ever
mean,
since
in a
winning the
way,
tag team
yes.
titles with Keith Lee, you really haven't seen him
Yeah.
doing a whole lot in AEW.
Well, here's the thing. He is facing Orange Cassidy tonight for the International Championship.
That doesn't
Who's
exactly
to
mean he's gonna win it though.
Here's the thing though. July 12th, Dynamite is coming up soon. Nick Wayne, who has been signed but can't appear because he is not yet 18 years old and has not graduated high school until July 12th, cannot show up for Dynamite. But once July 12th comes around, Nick Wayne has
Who's Nick Wayne?
indie prospect
Oh,
from GCW. But either way, Nick Wayne has been uh like in a way he pretty much like signed an open contract for July 12th Dynamite, and who is potentially going to be a champion and challenge and throw out a challenge to Nick Wayne for a championship, but Swerve Strickland. So it's all coming together.
who knows?
I mean, because not for nothing, Darby said the same thing to Nick Wayne when Nick Wayne was like in the crowd. He was like, "Hey man, once you graduate high school, I'm gonna put this TNT title on the line against you." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, Darby is no longer the TNT champion, first of all, and second of all, like, you need a champion to like have that match against Nick Wayne for a championship." And at this point, I really think it's going to be Swerve Strickland with the International Championship. And not for nothing, I'm okay with it because Orange Cassidy, up until now, has had like a really good, decent uh, championship reign.
Right.
So,
So the Acclaim say that they were screwed out of tag team gold,
which
and then,
they were.
and then they want the tag team titles back and
Well,
say
they want to win gold, but this time they want to win it with Daddy Ass. So more than likely,
says he
they're looking
deserves a
at
whole
them
gold one
trios
more
titles.
time.
More than likely, they're looking at them trios titles and House of Black.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's if they're the one trio that are looking for it, but don't count the BCC out of it
Yeah,
as well. But
I look at it this way, man. The trios division is heating up,
it certainly is.
which
We're
is
gonna
not a bad thing, honestly. Like, but we've talked about it before on this show. It's like, don't have the trios division like ultimately overshadow the tag team division,
right.
because like it's in a way it kind of seems like that's what's happening, but you know there's still a good amount of tag teams out there that could challenge FTR, you know, especially with what's happening with Bullet Club Gold right now. So
Don Callis claims he made Kenny Omega and blames everything on him for destroying his family. Says he may have lost a nephew but gained a son. Says Konosuke Takeshita is better than everyone, and says he will destroy the Elite and Kenny Omega. And Don Callis says he will build a new family and destroy everything involved with Kenny Omega. I hate to say it, but I think you're gonna get the Elite versus some people from Japan, and I think Konosuke Takeshita is gonna be part of that Japanese type of family that Don Callis is gonna put together.
but the Elite has somebody from Japan. He technically is still part of the Elite. Matter of fact, he's part of the Golden Elite. People watching, if you know who I'm talking about, I'm talking, of course, about Kota Ibushi. The Golden Elite, baby. We gotta have it at Forbidden Door to go up against Takeshita and possibly the BCC. Because you know it's gonna happen, more than likely. The Elite is gonna go up against BCC and they're gonna have somebody there. I mean, because not for nothing, Kenny himself is like, yeah, hey, I got a few friends in Japan that could take on, like, that could take on the Blackpool Combat Club. So who's to say one of them isn't Kota Ibushi?
Um, so Wardlow is throwing out the challenge to Luchasaurus. Thoughts? Now makes you almost think, why the f wasn't that not the match at Double or Nothing in the first place? Why did it have to be Christian Cage? But alright, I guess that's okay. I guess that makes sense. Hopefully there can be more challengers going after the TNT Championship, more than just Christian Cage and Luchasaurus right now, and also, you know,
Yeah, because, like, not for nothing, but all three, or at least I should say the two previous reigns of Wardlow as TNT champion, especially the second one, because it only lasted like not even a few days. But the first reign of Wardlow was like he kind of was MIA for a few months and didn't hardly even defend it. So it was like, okay, yeah, like he's still the TNT champion, but like you wouldn't have known that he was unless he came out on Dynamite with the title. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot, he's still the TNT champion. So I'm
right.
hoping that like it's gonna be a better, more decent reign with Wardlow as the TNT champion,
Yeah, that'd be
and they
nice.
give him like good, credible opponents.
Right. So get on to the next match. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin beat the Gates of Agony, and then the other members of Mogul Embassy tried to attack, and then out comes Sting. What does this mean? What it
It
means
means
is
we're
that
probably gonna get a 6-man tag between Sting, Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin against the Mogul Embassy.
probably it's going to lead into some kind of ROH match for the six-man tag team titles, but who
More than
knows?
likely. Here's the thing. Like, in a way, I'm not going to hate it, but at the same time, like, I am kind of gonna hate it if they put that on the card for Death Before Dishonor. Sting, Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin versus the Mogul Embassy for those 6-man tag team titles at Death Before Dishonor. Like, I wouldn't hate it because it makes sense to like what they're building towards, but at the same time, I would kind of hate it because I would look at that and be like, eh, Sting doesn't deserve to be going after the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles.
So MJF claims there's no one on the level of the Devil. At this point, you might be right, but I still think that there's competitors out there that he hasn't gone after before, and don't discredit anybody itself.
Folks, where's the lie?
Yeah. Um, I guess moving on. LFI want more opportunities and start taking out Hook. Then out comes Jungle Boy Jack Perry to even the odds. He uses the chair, and then Jose, the assistant, gets suplex. What does this mean? It looks like
It
the
means we're
LFI
gonna
has
get
some.
Jungle Hook.
We're gonna get some Jungle Hook in against the LFI. That's all I can say about that one. So we have ourselves a TBS Championship match. Chris Statlander faces off against Nyla Rose.
I am so glad that she's back, though. Like, seriously. I have missed seeing Chris Statlander on the TV in her element, man. And
I don't.
especially as a champion.
Yeah.
She absolutely deserved it. So.
I don't mind her being the champion, but why does Nyla Rose get the first opportunity to face after the
Yeah,
new
that
champion?
kind of like.
Like, you haven't seen her on TV in like forever, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, she's gonna get a title opportunity. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell? How the hell did she earn a title opportunity? Is it because she's been a women's world champion before? Like,
well,
give me a
technically,
break.
she's been a TBS champion before too.
Oh, I don't count that as any kind of sort of reign. But,
What do you mean? She earned it.
no, she did not. She stole it from Jade Cargill.
Hey, stole it.
And then that was the
It's
stupidest
just a
match.
nice way of saying that she earned it.
And then that was the stupidest, like, match anyway between those two. Like, it didn't amount to anything.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it
it
looks
made
like
for some
Chris,
entertaining television, I can say that.
even with Chris Statler retaining against Nyla Rose, there is someone lurking, and that's Taya Valkyrie. She looks, as she looks on, she wants that title that she was rightfully, you know, not, earned
Yeah.
at Double or Nothing. She should have probably won it. She should have been the one that,
Yeah.
beat. But you had to figure that she would have been at least 60-0 before losing.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, and this is kind of like where there's a conflict of interest in a way.
Now the thing is this is where I don't want the TBS title to be on
That's what I was
like the
getting at.
TNT title. I don't want it to be hot potato, but
That's what I was
I
getting
wouldn't
at.
be opposed to Taya going after and beating Chris Statlander.
But it's too soon for Chris Statlander to lose it. It's way too soon for her to lose it. And even then, Statlander is better than to be a transitional champion.
True.
So, like, that's what I'm getting at with the conflict of interest thing. Because on one hand, I would love to see Taya get the title because she absolutely deserves it. But on the other hand, it's too soon for Statlander to lose the title. So, what do you do? In my opinion, since we haven't seen it in a while, time limit draw. Because then it keeps both women looking strong, even in defeat, potential defeat.
So the main event of Dynamite is Adam Cole and Britt Baker facing off against Chris Jericho and Saraya.
Yeah, that was a weird match, in my opinion.
But yeah, Adam Cole and Britt Baker beat Chris Jericho and Saraya.
I get it, because it furthers the story with Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. But, like, having women involved, like, that was a little weird. At least to me. So.
Right. We get on to
oh my god.
Championship Friday.
This match banged so hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was even telling Jason about that. I'm like, man, if we even get a glimpse of being able to see Vikingo in Toronto for, like, Collision or even Forbidden Door, which I doubt would happen for Forbidden Door, but if he was to be there for Collision, that would be so freaking cool. Because, like, man, Vikingo is something special.
Yeah, Vikingo, and again,
Yeah.
630 senton through the table on the outside. Then
Somehow he ended up hurting his back on that spot.
Coleman there, with his,
don't know how.
walking on the tightrope there, and his crazy moves that he does with that. What about El Hijo del Vikingo doing the crazy, like, spot where he kind of does the poison?
He does like that springboard, like Poison Rana. Dude, like, yeah. And it's funny too because, like, I've seen Vikingo matches before in, like, Impact, but now, like, he's gotten so much better in the ring since his days when he would appear on Impact. And especially, like, when you get to see him on AEW, like, oh my god. Like, I became a fan of Vikingo from watching his matches that he's had thus far in AEW against Commander and Dralistico, against Kenny Omega.
But after everything, he beats Dralistico and Commander to retain the AAA Mega Championship. So yeah, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett seemed like they were going to get suspended, but no, Mark Briscoe was like, no, I do not want y'all to get suspended. we're going to have ourselves a match. And Aubrey Edwards comes out, and it looks like it's going to be a mixed tag team between Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett against Mark Briscoe and Aubrey Edwards. Thoughts on that one? I hope we get to see Aubrey
okay
Edwards get tagged in so she can beat the living crap out of Karen Jarrett. That'd be great.
Yeah, right. Like, man, this is the kind of thing that I want to see. Like, I want to see Aubrey Edwards get her, get one up Karen Jarrett.
Too bad Bully Ray can't be in
Why? So
AEW. So
we can powerbomb Karen Jarrett to a table?
Yes.
Like Dixie Carter?
Shit, if he can do it to Dixie Carter, why can't he do it to Karen Jarrett? Do us all a favor.
I was gonna say I would suggest a flaming table, but I'm like, yeah, nah, that's too. Cruel.
There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about this one. Zack Sabre Jr. literally just.
I don't know if you would call it a squash, but I mean, yeah.
His in-ring prowess to be able to just demolish Action Andretti in the ring is just insane. But yes, he beats Action Andretti to retain the NJPW World Television Championship. I'm sorry, NJPW.
About how ugly that fucking title is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but everybody agrees that title looks horrendous.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
No disrespect to Zack Sabre Jr. and just that championship in general, but at the same time, it's yeah, no. If I was Zack Sabre Jr., I would not even remotely want to be associated with that title.
Yeah, so Willow Nightingale and Emi Sakura face off against each other. This one was also another one
strong women's
that didn't really have a whole lot going on with it, because I like Emi, I really do, and I like Willow, but this match kind of seems a little dull and plain between both of them. But yes, Willow Nightingale and does beat Emi Sakura to retain the NJPW Strong Women's Championship.
Here's the thing. I can almost certainly expect that Willow will more than likely defend her New Japan Strong Championship at Forbidden Door. But I wonder who could possibly could possibly challenge her?
Mercedes Moné.
If she's healthy. Because, she did suffer a grade A ankle sprain. I think that's what it said. I think that's what I've heard. And those do take a bit to heal. So, we'd have to ask Brian how long the healing process takes for that, but yeah, it's safe to say that Mercedes Moné may or may not be able to challenge Willow at Forbidden. Forbidden Door would be the perfect setting, but at the same time, it's if Mercedes Moné is injured, she's injured, right? You can't really do too much about that if she's injured. So, the only other guess that I can think of, just a possibility, Kairi. Maybe. But then again, I don't know her contract status. I don't even know if she's still under contract with Stardom or New Japan. So and that's the thing too, is I don't even know that many women in Stardom that could challenge for this title. Because I don't know much. I'm pretty sure Jungle Kiona is in Stardom, but she might be in Tokyo Joshi Pro. I know Yuka is Tokyo Joshi Pro, so that's kind of But then again, they could possibly get Yuka. I don't know. I genuinely don't know who they could possibly get to challenge Willow.
So we got into the main event of Rampage. There's not really a whole lot to even talk about really this one because Lee Moriarty just got honestly
He got
humbled.
outclassed.
He got outclassed, humbled by a true legend in the art of wrestling and Katsuyori Shibata.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, he beats Lee
Yeah, matter
Moriarty
of fact,
to retain the ROH Pure Wrestling Championship.
yeah, matter of fact, in the match, Lee Moriarty ended up using all 3 of his rope breaks.
Yeah, early too.
So pretty, like, I was even saying to Jason when we were watching it initially, I'm like, so if hypothetically Shibata were to slap on a submission to Lee Moriarty and Lee Moriarty like goes to the ropes or whatever, it's still fair game because like he already used all 3 of his rope breaks.
Yeah, Big Bill had to go in the back because apparently anybody that interferes in a Pure Wrestling title match, their contract is terminated.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a little harsh, but I guess it makes sense. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you don't want any distractions, and you don't you want to keep things fair.
Then comes out the student, the Katsuyori Shibata, Daniel Garcia, and he looks to want his title back. Honestly, make it for Double or Forbidden Door. I would be all for it. I mean, Katsuyori Shibata.
I don't know so much about. I mean, it would be cool and it would make a lot of sense for Forbidden Door, but at the same time, I feel like it would also make sense potentially for Death Before Dishonor. So, I mean,
yeah, but
in the span of this month and next month,
you got a pay-per-view. I know, but you got a pay-per-view to book in a couple weeks more than
Well, not to mention ROH can also, like ROH also has like 2 months to book, like more like 1 month to book around Death Before Dishonor, whereas AEW, like you mentioned before, only have 2 weeks to book towards Forbidden Door, and so far only 2 matches have been announced. So I'm sure more matches are going to be announced via potentially New Japan and or AEW. So
this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Please make sure to follow us on social media, Tinkle Sports. And also make sure to check out our channel, Tinkle Sports Entertainment. Also, catch us on Facebook. Watch not just this show. We have I Turn Forward that's usually on there on Facebook as well as YouTube. We also have Out of Turn 4. We have this show, No Final Bell, and then we also have Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9 a.m. until our hiatus in July, and then until at least end of August, heading into September. Congratulations to Josh Allen being the Madden 24 cover athlete. First Bill to ever be on the Madden cover too. Not even Jim Kelly was on the cover back in the 90s because it was pretty much John Madden that was on the cover of the 90s Madden. So you didn't really get the cover athletes until the early 2000s, which it is what it is. But thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.